You're listening to a Canadian Movie Crew production.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Film Studies. I'm Derek, and I'm such a good boys.
And I mean Mark, and Mark Smash!
So today, since we haven't done... Yeah, he's wearing the shirt, so... So today, we haven't actually done a Film Studies. We had our retrospective, but we haven't done any movies since basically September, mid-September.
Well, I mean, that was the idea of the retrospective, though, because it ended in a new release, Conjuring 4.
Yes.
So Electric Boogaloo, or whatever that one was, yeah.
But we haven't had a chance to sit down and talk about anything else that we've been watching, so we're going to do a catch-up, sort of, this time around. Before we get into that, I want to make a note of a couple of things as far as our projects go. Number one, you can now find all of our Film Studies and Or Is It Movie podcast on our YouTube channel, Canadian Movie Crew.
Yay.
You can search it there. All of our recent releases, starting from October with a Or Is It Celebration of Awesomeness, and the retrospective is on there, plus anything we've released since then. And if you subscribe now, every day you'll get 5 new From the Vault episodes of Or Is It, starting way back initially. So I think I have the first 65 episodes up now, and they're getting 5 a day until I'm caught up. That way, if you do subscribe, I'm not spamming your inbox and your subscription page. So I think I initially put up like 13 episodes, and my subscription page went blah. So, also, make sure to check us out on the Hood Rat Recap. We did a great show with Kevin and Gaspar and Mike. And we reviewed a really shitty movie, Or Is It Style, Stuck Between Stations there. I listened to it again the other day. Fucking hilarious. Had a great time. So.
Yes, that is on YouTube as well.
And that is on YouTube. Is it?
I just looked.
Oh, okay, good. Movie or
in fact, what I did was I searched for Canadian Movie Crew on YouTube to see if we would pop up first. We do.
Excellent.
And then I made sure to hit that subscribe button, so I did. And right below that is our
3.
Is our appearance. That is 3. Yep. our appearance on the Hood Rat Recap podcast, which actually I was just listening to about an hour ago prior to I was doing some snow shoveling.
Okay.
And whatnot. Yep. I just listened to that show. A lot of fun with those guys, and now it's on YouTube as well, so you can find their podcast, find ours, on YouTube as well. So,
there you go. Okay, so let's start off, Mark. What have you been streaming lately?
So, streaming, I will open with actually one that we've done over on Or Is It? There, we did Alien 3 and Alien Romulus over on the Or Is It podcast. So, I had been recommended the Alien TV series that was recommended, the streaming on Disney Plus. Now, because I've watched those 3 projects, and because for whatever reason I ended up watching Alien Romulus twice, I watched it once months ago to check it out. Then I watched it again to refresh my memory for the Or Is It podcast. Disney Plus thinks I like only Alien and Star Wars movies. It recommends nothing else for me. I'm either watching space stuff or scary space stuff. It's really just my only 2 passions, apparently. However, that being said, you have to watch a
couple of MCU movies to get that back into your algorithm.
To get back, yes, to get recommended. Yeah, I got to go watch some Doctor Strange or something. I don't know. Put on the Avengers maybe on a loop. Now, but anyway, I will say, as much as I wasn't a big fan of Alien Romulus, the TV show actually is pretty good. An interesting premise.
Okay.
What's
the premise? Really spoiler free. Is it the aliens come to Earth?
Yes. So this apparently takes place around the same time as the Ripley Adventures. Ish.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas Romulus was around the same time. This is
It's like 20 years
yeah,
later.
just
Yeah.
yeah. I think this is sort of just after. It's similar in plot, to be honest, to the beginning, where like, oh no, here's a ship that used to have an alien on it, and guess what? Surprise, there's an alien on it. And we accidentally brought it back to her.
Yeah.
Except this one,
There's
a
really
little
only
bit.
one story you can tell in that universe, but yeah.
Except one of the things that they do, and I hope this isn't a spoiler. I won't go too far into it, but one of the things that they do is that the ship that brings back the xenomorph, they finally expand the world of Alien in that there's other weird shit in space.
Okay.
So, along with the xenomorph, is other weird shit they brought back from space. Like it was an exploratory vessel kind of idea doing science out there.
Okay.
And they brought back samples of weird shit. That's what I'm just going to call it because I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to
Sure.
spoil any surprises for anybody. There's that. And then the other part is more of an expansion on, how they have the robots in
Yes, the androids.
yes, they have their own versions of basically just humans that behave like robots. That's how they did it back in the 70s when they couldn't afford expensive C3PO costumes.
Sure. Yeah.
They put come on, you open up the first Alien movie, just by looking at him, you can't tell until, it's like, oh, that guy bleeds milk. All right, well, I guess he's a robot. Like now I know, you know what I mean? But otherwise it's just a guy in a jumpsuit like everyone else is a guy or a girl in a jumpsuit. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, they expand on that as well, which that's where a lot of your character stuff is happening, which I think was a smart choice. This idea of using that for character driven story, and then because what do you have the alien fall in love with somebody and then start, like a romance there, or I don't like a political drama between two alien warring with the xenomorphs that don't say shit. You can't do that. So to make a long form story, they have to bring in other elements. So I think there's a human aspect to it. The robots get involved. And then, like I said, then there's the xenomorphs, of course, the titular alien. But again, they expand the universe by showing, hey, there's other weird shit out there. And so they get more imaginative as to what the weird shit is and what it does.
Okay.
It really made it interesting. There's more. It's really a nice expansion of world building because, like you said, there's only one story you can tell.
Pretty
Well,
much.
this series finally takes it beyond that one story. So if you like Alien at all, I do recommend it. I'm hoping for a season 2. Haven't heard word, but I think it's doing some pretty decent numbers, and so I wouldn't be surprised to hear they get a season 2. Anyone I've talked to that has watched it, which isn't a lot of people, but anyone who I've talked to who has watched it has enjoyed it. So I think we're off to a decent start here. Again, it's bringing like new ground in the Alien franchise that feels like it's still part of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anything else?
Tulsa Kings, Sylvester Stallone in a TV show that I'd never watched him on TV before, right? Only you see him once for a movie. He's there for a bit. He punches a few guys, shoots a few other guys, calls it a day. Or
Right.
he'll say, stop or my mom will shoot, and calls it a day, right? Like it's that kind of thing. So again, long form Stallone, really able to dig into a character. And they gave him a good one. Professional tough guy mobster moves from New York to Tulsa for reasons I won't spoil and is making a go of it. And it's the trouble he runs out to. It's a little fish out of water because it's, we do different things out here in Oklahoma, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So there's that, but then he's bringing some New York with him. He's also learning the ways of the locals, and he's navigating the kind of this new terrain, but using some of his old school mobster tactics and tricks and stuff to do what he wants to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, spoiler free, of course. So there's some interesting characters, like people that he meets along the way and either work for him or he befriends them and yada, yada, yada. So there's different opponents. There's some great guests. Well, not guests, but like great actors. I like Dana Delaney's in it.
Don't know if I know that
for one. You've got I want to say Neil McDonough. He's in it.
Okay.
Another great, character actor. Yeah. Just some really good acting, some fun action when it happens. But I mean, Stallone, he gets this intensity when he's in certain scenes. Like the drama is just right there, and he doesn't even have to lift a finger.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
And then, so getting my mobster fix apparently wasn't. I got caught up with Tulsa King. It's now on. Like I'm at the point where it's on week to week.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for the next episode right now in season 3. So to keep my mobster fix going, I also checked out Mobland, which is a European mobster show. Pierce Brosnan is the head of an Irish cartel working out of England.
Pierce Brosnan, really?
Pierce Brosnan, and get this, his wife is played by Helen Mirren.
Ooh.
It is so friggin' entertaining. Listen to Helen Mirren put on this Irish accent, curse a blue streak, and drink her face off. I mean, come on. We're used to her playing the lady, right? Just a proper
queen,
lady,
essentially.
A queen. A mom, a grandma. But she's a downright dirty, like, foul mouth, but put you in your place, tough person, right? Same with Brosnan too. So hearing him do this Irish accent and again cursing a blue streak, we knew him, as a proper gentleman, James Bond. You know what I mean? Like that's the roles he was getting, and Remington Steele before that, a proper gentleman. Well, now he's a right bastard. He is in this one, And then
he's always had like a baby face. He's always like a good guy. You know what I mean? Like he's the quintessential good guy.
True, but in his older years, he can really put on a nasty, angry face. Scare the shite out of you. I tell you what.
The shite.
And get this, to the icing on the cake, playing their fixer, their heavy, Tom Hardy.
Well, that Tom Hardy's willing to take just about anything. So that
I know,
surprise me.
That doesn't make
weird.
Doesn't mean he's bad. He's friggin' fantastic in this.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I was scared of Brosnan, but holy shit, I'm terrified of Hardy. I don't want him showing up at my door. He plays the polite fixer. Like, if you don't cross him,
I'd like you to please stop it and give me all the money that you owe me.
He treats his friends and his loved ones extremely well.
Right.
But if you're on the wrong side, that extreme goes the other way, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the character, and it's really entertaining to watch because he'll just be trying to make everything work. He's got the wife and the kid at home and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden he has to switch into action mode and look out. Like it's not good for everything.
He's kind of the Irish version. You have a nice home here. It'd be a shame if something were to happen to it.
Yeah. Now he's not doing an Irish accent. They just
okay.
Yeah, they for some reason Brosnan and Mirren are doing the Irish accents, but I guess
they're English, so they know.
They're I know, but they're based out of England. Like they're in London. They're in.
No, I know, but they're actually English, so they grew up with all the accents. And I found that people in the UK are very good at doing all of the UK accents. So.
Oh, sure. And Hardy's British himself, right?
Oh, is he? I thought he was American.
I believe so. No, he's British, and he just uses normal accent. I'm pretty sure he's European.
He's an English actor. Okay.
He's an English. Yeah, he's an English. Yeah. So, but again, he can play that gentleman heavy well as well, right? So, I don't know a lot of the other British actors that are in it. Some faces are vaguely familiar, but they all do fantastic jobs. So it's a good show. 1 season only so far. Hopeful for a season 2. And then finally, before we get to that one that we've both seen, I did watch the most recent season of Dexter Resurrected.
Okay.
It turns out that there's some Dexter.
In all of us?
I was going to say episodes that I missed, but you took a dark turn on that one. There you went a little.
Just the way you worded it, it turns out there's a little Dexter.
I was trying to
There's
say,
only wrong way to go with that.
like episodes or a series. There was a series. I know there's at least one, maybe two series that I missed. I know they did a Young Dexter one. And I'm like, well, I didn't watch Young Sheldon, so why am I going to watch Young Dexter? But this one was pretty good. Like he has a kid now, so that complicates things. And
is it the same actor?
Oh yeah. It's
okay.
Michael C. Hall or whatever his name is.
Right.
It's weird, like because I don't see him in much else. We saw him in Gamer, but like, can you think of anything else he's been in? No. And so without looking at his IMDb page, I'm like, is this the only job he's had? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's been the one that's brought him the most success. By far and away, probably the largest amount of money has been made personally by this.
Yeah.
But it's,
you Google him, the first four things that come up is Dexter, Dexter Resurrection, Dexter New Blood, and Dexter Original Sin.
Yeah, those last two I didn't see.
So,
but they more or less catch you up though.
Okay.
Yeah. So, which is good. Like anyone who's a fan of the original, if you didn't see the other couple in between, I don't feel like I lost anything. They caught me up as much as I needed to be, and that was about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So they did a good job of that. I didn't feel lost or behind at all. And also, Peter Dinklage is in this one. So
okay.
Yeah, that right there like sealed the deal for me. When I heard he was in it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to check it out. And I was glad I did. It was good.
Located between the Hall of Justice and the Brady Bunch house is the worldwide headquarters of the 70s versus the 80s podcast, where they tackle such controversial subjects as:
if you spill Zima on your Zubas, does it even leave a stain?
Which Cher husband had the better Love Boat appearance? What these guys say may shock you.
In your high school yearbook, does your hair even fit in the photo frame? So, Brian, where can you play this podcast?
It's on his phone, Mike.
Okay, so blast this sucker on your flip phone.
No, doesn't work that way. Listen to the 70s versus the 80s podcast, God willing.
Well, I guess that brings us to the one I watched, which was Twisted Metal Season 2.
Yeah.
I had seen Twisted Metal Season 1. It was okay. It was an expansion in Season 1, it was an expansion of the world of Twisted Metal. This one is more of the game.
Yeah, I kind of like that progression. I like the idea that they put us in the world so we know why everyone's playing the game.
Yeah.
Like you really get a sense of how this is Walking Dead with cars.
I do like the setup to it. However, it takes a season and a half to get there. And when you're just waiting for the tournament itself, it's a little bit of a slog. Now, I do think it's worth it because of the characters. I don't think the tournament means as much. It's excuse me, Jesus. The tournament isn't as entertaining, I don't think, if you don't watch the first season and a half.
I agree. I agree.
But there was a lot of it that I'm not going to say is wasted. But there's a lot of stuff in there. If I was to watch it again, I'd probably fast forward through.
Remind me again, how many episodes was that? I did watch it. I just can't remember the count on it.
10 episodes, season 2.
Okay. Because what I'm thinking, to be honest, like I respectfully disagree. I did appreciate the time that was taken to let us invest in the characters. So that way,
I agree with that.
Yeah. That way, when we are participating in the tournament, we have our favorites. We know who we want to win or lose. You know, that kind of stuff. And then they bring in new drivers, like some dead meats. You got to have some cannon fodder.
Sure.
in season 2, which is fantastic. It really does expand the pool, which is good. You don't want all your main characters being the only ones in, so that really helped. But I think I really possibly I kind of would meet you halfway if this was I want to say maybe a 12 to maybe 16. Season 1 and 2 compressed, so
that I would do, yeah.
Like say a 12 episode where maybe the first 4 or 5 is maybe even the first half is get to know your drivers, and then the latter half is this tournament. Pretty much as it is, for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like, because you get to the tournament, I think, around episode 4 or 5 in season 2. There's like 2 or 3 episodes spent at the doll's compound, which is fine because sometimes you do go outside, you catch up with Sweet Tooth, you meet the new villain Calypso, and I'm not familiar with the game, so I don't know how faithful they are to the game. I should say that right off the bat. I've played the game for me. Once. I knew of the game. I thought it was an interesting game, but I was a Nintendo kid, not a Sega kid, so I never got to play it.
Well, that's good because it was on PlayStation.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
I can't remember if I owned it or if I just rented it and played the shit out of it for a week or two. I cannot remember.
I played it at like a buddy's house. I think that's...
Yeah, I did play this for a bit. I remember quite enjoying the game, but yeah, the lore and everything like that, there wasn't a whole lot to it, and you didn't really care. It's like,
no, it was
look, an ice cream truck with guns. That's fun. Like that. Yeah. Like it was more about what controls do I need to know to win this thing.
I think I played more Carmageddon than I did Twisted Metal, which is essentially the same game. No, I like, they were setting up characters and setting up relationships. That's fine. I personally don't care about John recovering his memories about his sister. You know what I mean? The character sister is great, and I enjoyed everything that she did. Him remembering his things of his grandfather, that kind of thing. Although it does work with the show, like I'm not discounting it at all. For me personally, I was waiting. The trailer for this season was Tournament. And I was kind of like Millhouse after the first couple. When are they going to get to the Cracker Factory or when the fireworks factory?
Yeah.
Like, get to the tournament. I want to see the tournament. And considering how good the tournament was, the tournament is not always in car. There's different things, different challenges, and I like that. I like the setting. I like the way it was set up. I like the characters in it. So I was much happier with the second half of of season 2 than I was the first half, because it's a lot of setup, even though we've had a full season of setup that basically goes nowhere because Neve Campbell does not come back. So,
which is weird.
Well, she's off making Scream 7. So,
well, but to be fair, they did spin it nicely. They actually did I thought they did a fantastic job of putting her not returning into the lore. Like the way they wrote around it, and maybe that was the plan all along. Like maybe they just, what I mean? Because scheduling, you can plan this stuff ahead of time. You don't just suddenly like she didn't. I'm sure she didn't show up on the second last day of filming, or her second last day, and be, oh, by the way, they're doing another Scream. I got to leave after tomorrow. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think that got sprung. Something tells me they actually had a plan. Get her while they can for that name recognition, and then they jump off into the thing that they did. I don't want to really spoil it, but
it looked to me like they were looking, like they were hoping to have her for season 2, but I don't think it was ever a guarantee. Now, they might have had a
backup plan.
They brought in Patty Guggenheim to replace her, which...
Oh, I actually kind of... nothing against Neve Campbell, but I kind of wish she had retroactively been... The same thing?
I agree. I agree completely.
Wish she had been there the whole time. Like, just they should have just given her the part and let her be Raven.
She went hard and
she nails it. Yeah, I like her
she
better.
nails it absolutely. Devon Sawa was Harold. I forgot about that. Yeah, surprise! Taylor Johnston from Letterkenny shows up in this show halfway through.
Yeah, I love it.
Under a hood, but still, I recognize the voice.
Oh yeah, really easy to recognize that voice.
Yeah, overall, a lot of fun. Go ahead. Sorry.
Samoa Joe, and Will Arnett still killing it as Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, that combination, I didn't know if that would work, to be very honest, and it's working, and it's working well.
You know, okay, my sticking point, as entertaining as they were, if I were to try and do my little cut down to get it to one good season, I might have let go of Stu and Mike.
Oh, I disagree. The one I would have gotten rid of would have cut down, not gotten rid of, but I would have cut down is the Mayhem.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just because
I guess so.
I don't like precocious children. And even though she's a teen and whatever, blah blah blah. Although she does fit the humor of the show, so I give her a pass on that too. So like.
Yeah,
and she's only really there for the tournament itself. So
now, one of the things I think they do pretty well is they do bring in a couple of other, like Richard DeClercq as Mr. Grimm, which is I think he's the motorcycle guy from the game.
Yeah.
Bringing him in, and they do a nice shortcut to kind of introduce, but you don't really need to get invested in that character. He's just a foil for Sweet Tooth. That's all you need to know. Sweet Tooth doesn't like him. I like the shortcuts that we didn't have to spend a full season with him, like we do with Quiet and John.
Based on the character itself, I wish we spent more time with him. I think that's more of an interesting character. He has
more Grim, less mayhem.
Yeah, to be honest, I get Mayhem's character. She doesn't know how to drive. She's, in over her head. There's a backstory to her where she has history with Axel, and that gets revealed one episode before their story is wrapped up, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Which is weird because, okay, I see that there's a thing and he gets a nice moment at the end, but ultimately it's, backstory done. So there's no exploration there. You know what I mean? That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
I think Grimm's character could have done with more backstory, especially backstory between him and Sweet Tooth. I would have preferred that over which character is going to be more lesbian in the camp. Which I'm not against lesbians, but it's not exactly an interesting story. Wasting 20 minutes. Oh, I make clothes. Or we put on makeup in this tent, and
so now what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe in as much as season 1 was good, maybe if we had brought some of these other characters, like maybe if Grimm was introduced in season 1, maybe towards the latter half.
It doesn't have to be introduced in season 1, but I mean, you spend a lot of time with John and his sister, which is fine. You spend a lot of time with John and Quiet going back and forth. I don't think you necessarily needed all of it. I think you could have spared some of that time and given me backstory on Grimm and Sweet Tooth, and then given me Axel's backstory. Just a little bit more.
What do we get? Maybe 20 minutes with Axel, I think.
Yeah, introduce the backstory between Axel and Mayhem earlier on so that I'm more invested, and then when the ending happens, not the very next episode, but rather 2 or 3 episodes later, make him maybe realize their connection a little bit earlier in the show. That way, that adds a dynamic to the actual tournament. You can take away the protectiveness of Quiet for Mayhem and shift that over to Axel so that Quiet and John can have their storyline and focus on their relationship.
That's true. I mean? They do end up playing they end up playing like adopted parents for most of it.
Which is weird because that they can't all win.
And they're not really they're together, but are they? Or I mean, I guess so.
John and Quiet?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're together.
Because she seemed to be pretty invested in that encampment there with the other ladies.
That was another thing, too. Yeah, they spend 3 episodes deciding, is Quiet going to go with John? Yes. Yes, she is. We all know she is. Because the rest of the season's going to take place in the tournament, and they're not going to leave her behind.
Well, why have her in the show if they're going to leave her behind, right? So,
well, exactly. Like, you're going to leave the skinny guy behind that's staying in the camp. The simp there.
Oh yeah, that guy,
he's not making it till the end of the season.
Yeah, they did set up kind of a fake like a red herring, like maybe I forget the character's name, who was more or less the leader of the camp. Like there was a possibility she was going, I think. Like, didn't it come down to her and Quiet, and then it was like it ended up being Quiet and John's sister?
It ended up being I thought it came down. Was there another one? I don't know. I knew it wasn't going to be.
I thought there was another. No, that's why I can barely remember, because I knew John's sister's going, and then Quiet's also going. Like we don't that there was wasted time. I will say that.
Yeah. And that was exactly, and that's why, because John's going, Quiet's going, his sister's going. You introduce Mayhem, so obviously she's going. Now they bring along the bigger girl, but I forget her name.
Oh yeah, the Frosty there.
Frosty, is that? No, it wasn't Frosty. Frosty was from the outside, but they brought the bigger girl with the simp.
Oh right. Yeah,
I forget her name.
I don't remember. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the camp was a complete waste of time, but I think the whole who's going was. I mean, it was good to check in on what Quiet's been up to, where she's been, and then we do get into her mindset of how badly she wants the walls to come down. Why this is going to be her wish. She's on the outside, and then while we're at the camp with her, we jump back to John on the inside and what he's been up to.
Yeah.
So, that we do get the dichotomy, which is good.
And again, I don't think you needed 2 or 3 episodes or 2 episodes of John being held captive and training on video games in order to be the representative for New San Francisco. You can do all that in 1 episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you establish the Raven character, but I think Raven gets better character development in the tournament. So,
and she's an instant, like as soon as you say the name Raven, we automatically will pull whatever we thought of Neve Campbell and more or less push it on her, and then see how she's different.
Yeah,
because that's exactly what I did. I was like, okay, she's going to be now the not so nice head of this city who's after something or other.
Yeah.
I mean, like Neve Campbell played evil queen pretty well.
Yeah.
So we automatically be okay, this is our new evil queen. What's she like? But we already have a head start, right? On her.
Like maybe what I would have done, if you're going to take 4 episodes, split them in half of season 2. Do the storylines for Sweet Tooth, John and Quiet, Sweet Tooth and Stu, Mayhem, and set them all up. And at the end of their half an episode, point them in the direction of the tournament.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And then in episode 5, everyone arrives at the tournament, and then off you go.
So
you know what I mean?
Right. So maybe episode 3 or 4, we do get a bit of backstory on Grim and Sweet Tooth, or Grim at least, and then by the end of the episode, he gets pointed to the tournament.
Yeah, because Grim just shows up at the beginning of one episode. I think it's episode 4 or 5. He just shows up. We get his superpower, which
and we get a very brief backstory.
We get a very, very brief backstory, and we get a superpower that doesn't matter in the end. Nothing comes of it.
We don't know how he... I can't even remember how he got it. But yeah, he's a dude.
We don't know how he got it initially. We know he has it. It doesn't seem to help him. Like, it doesn't seem to add to his skill set, because he's just as good without it later on as he is with it.
Yeah, his superpower has nothing to do with his skills on a motorcycle or with a gun.
Yeah. And all we're given is that he and Sweet Tooth have beef.
And to be honest, more of it is Sweet Tooth has a beef with him because all Sweet Tooth wants is to be recognized as the killer of killers.
Yeah.
Which I like as a simple goal. He's actually got an investment now. It's not just about winning this tournament. It's about winning everybody's respect, which he thinks he will have. I mean, the guy's a twisted maniac, so of course he would think that.
Yeah.
And it's actually like really simple, easy to understand, but effective. And then, of course, Grim, being a killer himself, is in his ways. So
yeah,
I do like that runner. They keep running into people and no one knows who he is. And they keep dropping the names of other killers. So he goes after them like that. That's kind of a like maniac versus maniac is always entertaining in action.
That's the one thing I like about Sweet Tooth is you never know what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
And they don't, because like halfway through the season, he's like, yeah, Stu, so I found out that I can't have kids, so I'm adopting you as my son. Totally did not expect that to happen. And then he's taken on, it's like, oh, I knew you'd have to leave the nest soon, but blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, I'm going to teach you how to behead a guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's,
it's ridiculous, but
it is. It's campy. It's fun. It's within the world. It makes sense. Some of the jokes are punny, like but no, it's campy fun. It fits the world, and I think it's the first season for me was just okay, and while I didn't overtly enjoy it, it wasn't a waste of time, so it was very, very middle ground for me. The second season really took off, especially in the second half. When they get to the tournament, it becomes a lot of fun. I found myself binging it at that point. The first half of the season, I was just sort of watching when I was like, I would do an episode or two when I was down on my workout, or I don't have anything else to watch right now, put on an episode. When I got to the second half, that's when I was like, okay, now I got to watch the next episode. Now I got to watch the next episode. Now I want to see how this ends. So it really hooked me in the second half. So I very much enjoyed it.
Yes. Once the engines start, it's on. It's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. Some of the stuff beforehand was kind of fun. I really did like Mayhem. And of course we got to be well beyond spoiler alert at this point. I really did enjoy what Mayhem does in the garage just before, where she starts kind of like a whisper campaign almost.
That was interesting.
To rile people up against it. Like that's how she was living up to her name finally. She was causing some mayhem.
Yeah.
Just by like jaw jacking. And I heard so-and-so
take the focus off of her. Yeah.
Off of her, off of Quiet, off of John. Like that's how she was contributing, was by causing mayhem amongst the other drivers and getting them pit against each other, which I thought was a fantastic move. Some great pre-game. That's worthy of Letterkenny, the hockey players chirping each other. You know what I mean? Like that. Speaking of Letterkenny,
Yeah.
So there was some good stuff in the preamble, a bit more character development. We did get the introduction of the new drivers. to your point, though, it would have been fun. It would have been kind of neat if during season 1, maybe we occasionally just cut to Grimm, just like killing somebody,
Yeah.
and and then that's it. And then we cut back to whatever the story was, and then maybe an episode later, he's burning down a house or something like that, and then you know what I mean, like just kind of this weird, quiet, this ominous threat.
Yeah.
To build, I think would have been kind of neat to have as interstitials in the first season to liven it up a little bit more action. And again, just setting that table for the tournament. So luckily it's not over just yet.
Well, that was going to be my next question is, what do you think about the setup for season 3?
I'm wondering how they're going to get a whole season out of it. I guess there must be some sort of longer term consequences to whatever is happening at the end of this tournament.
Yeah.
Or if they get there, and maybe this can go one of two ways in my mind anyway. Either whatever the big wish is, there's going to be consequences and it's world changing. So how does that affect the world? Which, as a way to close the show, I think it would be kind of neat because season 1 sets the world up.
What do you mean? Sorry, what do you mean about what the wish is? You mean the winner of season 3?
The winner of the tournament.
Okay.
Right?
So
he's going to make a wish.
Because the winner
Stu
does get a
true.
wish, right?
And what does he say again?
He says, "Take me away from all of this, put me in a safe space with Mike." Spoiler alert, Stu, in a roundabout way.
Right. Okay. So there could be longer term ramifications with that, whatever that means.
Well, he gets the whole wish. Thing about he gets put in space.
No, that was his
wish.
Well, no, that was the end of season
2. I just finished it.
Doesn't he come?
But he does
come back from space.
Yes, and and that happens in the second to last episode. In the last episode, he comes back completely. He says that he took it out of orbit and then has spent the last 6 months trying to find this cabin. They're like, well, how did you know where this cabin was? Never mind that. If you want to live, come with me. Because his sister is then transformed into the robot, right?
Oh, yes.
Into the final boss character. We find then she dies, supposedly. I don't really think she's totally dead. They're not going to waste that character on that.
Wow, that's weird that I forgot that. So now I do remember. I'm like, I remember Mike going to space. I was like, oh yeah, because it was horrifying, right? He gets into space and there's Mike's dead body.
Yeah, because he wanted to go with Mike.
Yeah. And Mike was dead. So really, I think it's just going to be now the gang versus the cities, right? Like whoever's left versus.
Well, no, the next
Raven
one they said
it's
the
cities.
Because in one of the flashback scenes we see Calypso pitching to NBC. Because it's on Peacock. This idea for a reality show of Twisted Metal, and they laugh in his face, and so he's like, "Oh, I'll wait," because he's an immortal being with magic powers, and so he's going to. I kind of got the feeling like he was the reason like this whole apocalypse happened because he's been waiting to do this Twisted Metal thing. Although that's yet to be revealed.
But I don't think you're wrong on that one.
I think I'm just guessing on that one. And so part of the initial pitch when he pitched it to the network was, and we'll do the first season, and then in the second season, we'll open up to the entire world, and the entire world will be Twisted Metal. And so now he's getting his wish by doing the second Twisted Metal series and it's a hunt, basically. The whole game of the second Twisted Metal, or season 3 of Twisted Metal, is going to be there's John, there's Quiet, there's Mayhem, and Stu killed him. So it becomes the Running Man, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I'll see how it plays out. Currently, I think they should have ended it at 2. Because I think, you know what I mean? Because I think it wrapped it up so nicely that I don't know if you can top this season.
Well, it would have a weird ending
Maybe
like
you
this.
can,
We built
but-
this, but we built this whole tournament, and part of the whole thing was like setting up the society, right?
Yeah.
And then we also set up one of our major characters wants to make a major change to society.
Yes.
I don't think that's something you can just leave on the table. So I think that going into this season 3,
because she doesn't win, she doesn't get her wish, society doesn't change, and she leaves and goes out to the cabin with John. I think you're right.
True, but
I think that's the storyline
yeah.
that you should. I think that's the goal for the 3rd season. I think that's what it should be in the end. How they get there, I don't know, because Calypso's not going to allow that.
No, but I think that they will get there while they're being chased. That's you know what I mean? Like it's going to be kind of twofold. It's going to be them versus society, but also versus Calypso, right? So now the stakes are up even further.
Here's the one thing:
just about this tournament anymore.
The one thing I really enjoyed about season 2 is whoever did the music is obviously from my fucking era.
Yeah,
because the music in this one is all fucking bangers from the 90s. You got Offspring. You fucking heard songs I haven't heard in a long time. I'm getting the soundtrack to season 2 of Twisted Metal. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah. You gotta look that up on Spotify. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
We go to the prom. It's all fucking songs from the 90s. It's great.
And kudos to the special effects, whether they're CGI or practical. Good job.
And
the cars look fantastic. The cars look fantastic. The Carfu is great. Like the camera shots are nice. You can see what's going on. It's not all shaky cam. I love the use of drones is really fun, right? There's a lot we can do now, especially in a movie or a show like this with these car chases and stuff like that. Having the drones to be able to just follow as chase cams, fan-friggin-tastic. I love it. We're doing sweeping vistas over basically what is an abandoned airfield or a rented out airfield that's not in use, right? Because that's the garage is an airport or like an airplane hangar, and then most of it is just like you have that one long stretch of this miles of airfield.
Yeah,
and then the city's in the background, but like fucking A, like like open warfare on a tarmac, like. Damn, that's fun. Yeah. And then the Coliseum with certain almost tunnels and stuff like that.
Yeah, with an outside ring.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, that's great. That's great shit. Oh, so good.
One of my favorites was finally throughout the whole season they have this thing called the boomerang bomb.
Yeah.
Boomerang missile. And nobody knows how to use it and everyone's misusing it, and then finally in the end they use it properly. I was like, wow. Yeah. Like somebody spent some time on that gag, so I would say solid. I would give us 8 Sweet Tooth masks out of 10. I'd recommend it. I had fun.
Yeah,
especially when you get to the tournament.
I definitely give it 8 boomerang bombs out of 10 for sure.
Yeah. So we switch it to movies then.
Yep.
So I had a couple of them that you may have not seen. First, I want to say I forgot my tablet. Usually I take my tablet full of my TV shows and movies to work with me. I forgot it one day. And I ended up rewatching UHF.
Oh.
From 1989. I gotta say, that movie is so underrated. That's so funny. It's such a good movie. It's a feel-good movie. I just putting it out there. UHF, fun time. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I saw the John Candy documentary, I Like Me. I don't know if you've seen this one.
No, I haven't.
It debuted at the Toronto International Film Festival this year. It was made by his son and I think Ryan Reynolds produced it. Good documentary. yeah, it's good. I kind of wish it was a little bit better. I won't own it on DVD. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of things in there. I didn't know that he was part owner of the Argonauts, the Toronto Argonauts, the CFL team,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
with Wayne Gretzky, apparently.
Two Canadian legends.
Yeah. And it was nice to look back at the career of John Candy, who is just a nice person. He has demons, you know, he has alcohol problems and various depression problems.
Mm.
But when they focus on his career and and they get a lot of people like Dan Aykroyd's in it. There's Tom Hanks, I guess, I didn't know that he and John Candy did a movie together. I should have known. I'm gonna look it up here.
Go ahead. I'll look it up.
Splash. Sorry.
Right, Splash.
They were in Splash together, and they were also in Volunteers, which is a movie I've never heard. But
apparently, you're not alone in that.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I started typing John Candy, a lot of people apparently have looked up John Candy and Tom Hanks movie. That was like the top Google search. I didn't have to finish typing it.
Like Tom Hanks is a big part of this documentary, and I've never seen Splash, so it's just a movie that was out before I was old enough to watch those kind of movies. And so, but Tom Hanks, and he spent a lot of he spent like his interview time spent a big almost as much as his son and Dan Aykroyd. You know what I mean? So it was really interesting learning about the Groundlings and Second City and going through all of that and all of the early things where all of the Second City people crossed over with Bill Murray and Gilda Radner and Catherine O'Hara and how they get to where they go. It was really
that SNL crew, that early SNL crew.
Yeah, the SNL and SCTV crew. And maybe it's my Canadian rose-colored glasses. I just wanted to see his career portion. The depression and the alcoholism kind of ruins it for me because I think all Canadians have this idea of John Candy as the big lovable goof.
Yeah.
And they don't want that ruined. You know what I mean? But
no,
Macaulay Culkin's in it, and he has a big role into it. He talks very nicely about John Candy and how he learned from John Candy in Uncle Buck.
Oh.
And
yeah, that's right. They while he was in Home Alone, they weren't on set together.
And John Candy only spent like 24 hours doing Home Alone because of his schedule. So he shot 24 hours straight, basically. And he was like, no, we're going to get this done. He's like, well, you got to go in like 2 hours. He's like, no, we're going to get this done first. Like he was committed to that project. For
the time that he was there. That's amazing.
For the time that he was available to be there. So it's a good documentary. I highly recommend it. It's a drop kick to the feels at certain points. But I think
that's why I don't want to watch it. I don't feel like crying right now.
Yeah. But if you have the time and you don't mind, keeping a box of tissues nearby, it's especially if you're Canadian. I think it hits home because they do talk about Canada and him being Canadian and liking and loving being Canadian and representing Canada. How he could have gotten a home in the States, but he chose to get one in Ontario, closer to Toronto. I think Oakville. I could be wrong. But like a farm. He was very much a family man and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
He didn't buy that farm from the Clown Murders, did he?
No. Or is it movie podcast? Check out our episode with Scott White. No.
Yeah.
The documentary is a little, I would say, timeline disjointed. I would have liked I would have liked to have seen more of his career, but you do get a lot of celebrities saying a lot of nice things about John Candy, which really is nice. So,
yeah, this one seemed to be one that was long overdue. He's been gone for a while now, and I would have thought that this would have been done by now. Again, maybe they just wanted to take their time and to do him justice. And I hope at the end of this project that they felt that they've done that, because he was a great comedian and deserves a wonderful send off like that.
Yeah.
So.
I know now his son is going to be starring as Barf in Spaceballs too, which I watched the original Spaceballs when that announcement came out. I watched the original Spaceballs and I was like, I don't know if the second one's going to live up to it. I really don't. You know, it's such a capturing of that time. You know, Star Wars was huge back then. That's, you know, this was the parody of it, and I don't know if Spaceballs 2 can live up. I hope so. Got high hopes for it, but I don't know.
So, believe me, I was in the midst of. I was just a few years after Return of the Jedi had come out. It's 1987. Mm-hmm. My brother-in-law, or soon-to-be brother-in-law, I guess, making wanting to continue to make a good impression on my sister and the rest of my family, he took me to the drive-in to see Spaceballs, because they knew how much I'd fallen in love since 1980 with Star Wars, seeing A New Hope and Empire back to back. Right. Then my parents put me on a bus from Ottawa to Kingston so I could join my sister in Kingston. She was going to school there at the time, right on Princess Street. That theater that's there.
Oh, the Grand or the one downtown.
Yeah,
or the one that was downtown.
Yeah, right on Princess.
Yeah,
yeah. That's where I saw Return of the Jedi in 1983.
Okay.
So a few years later, Spaceballs, and we go to the. I'm still in Star Wars heaven, right? So I am losing my mind. I'm getting all the jokes, the references. I learned what the word asshole meant. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, like as a young kid should, from movies. You know,
you forever decided what your luggage code was going to be.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And when in doubt, you just throw up my hands and be like, I'm surrounded by assholes, you know what I mean? And they're like, it's your 12th birthday. What are you doing? You know, you should really. Yeah. So a lot of fun with that. So yeah, they've got some big shoes to fill. And now, you know, I'm an adult. A lot more Star Wars has happened. The cast is now considerably older. What are they going to be up to? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? Like I said.
So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
The only other movie I watched, I'm not going to go too much into it because it was The Toxic Avenger, which apparently was supposed to come out in 2023, but actually came out this year. Stars Peter Dinklage. The villain is Kevin Bacon. And the secondary villain is Elijah Wood.
Wow.
Yeah, doing a lot of, because these guys are taking like some really creative roles. It's Toxic Avenger. It's a hyper reality. You have to be into trauma.
And it's such a weird movie. I mean, it is kind of I've never seen it, but I get the idea of the premise, right? Toxic sludge gives someone superpowers. That's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's a bunch of comics, you know what I mean? Do that kind of thing, but now this
But it's R-rated. You know what I mean?
He's gross looking. Like that's the thing. He's just like, gross. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think if you're gonna watch the Toxic Avenger, watch the original from the 90s.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's probably better. Now, Mark, you saw one called The Roses.
I did, which is a remake of The War of the Roses, which I think I saw back in the day, but it was like, I wasn't the right age for it or something like that. It might have been one of my older sisters was watching it, and I just sort of was around. Might have been playing with toys or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. but the title was familiar. But Benedict Cumberbatch, Olivia Colman, thank you. Andy Samberg, Kate McKinnon, you know what I mean? Like this cast. So I was like, okay, sure. Let's check them out. It was weird to see Benedict Cumberbatch using his hands and fingers normally instead of these weird motions and signs that I'm used to seeing him do. He wasn't making circles with his finger. Yeah. He was capeless the entire time. Spoiler alert. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of odd,
near looking like a dragon. All right.
Yeah, I know, right? And he didn't open portals to anywhere. I mean, it was just he took a car. You know, like what was that? You know, never said Camartage once. All right, but anyway, or Kristen, you know, like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but still, you know what? I'm just gonna say I saw it, and I know that it's gonna be one that you and your lovely wife are gonna see. So let's reconvene then.
Is it good? I guess
I'm not even going to say one way or the other. I don't want to influence anything. I really want your opinion.
Okay.
And Emily's as well. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we'll watch it tomorrow. We're both off tomorrow.
There we go. Well, maybe next time. Stay tuned. Next time on Film Studies. Will they watch Roses? Find out next podcast, you know.
Well, I know there's one we both watched, and there's two more movies we're going to talk about today. One of them is The Rock in The Smashing Machine.
Yeah.
Based on the life and career of, is it?
Mark Kerr.
I was going to say Mike Kerr, but I knew that was wrong.
Yeah, well, as he shares my namesake, it was easy to remember.
That's true.
They say my name about a dozen times in the motion pictures, so I'm okay. You know.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt says Mark. Oh, that's awesome. You know. It's the closest I'll ever get to her saying it, so she'll never say it to me.
Fucking Emily Blunt in this movie. God damn.
Holy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dear listener. Please don't be offended. She is just aging like a fine wine, and I don't mean that to be creepy, but this woman is timeless. She's the Paul Rudd of actresses. I swear. She just maintains her looks, her figure, her poise. Her acting ability is just getting better and better. Like, she played some like New Jersey style housewife in this one, kind of, right?
Yeah.
This
one is
when they
Mark
showed
Kerr.
the pictures.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh no. Sorry. I'm getting too deep into it. By all means, sorry. You were at the start. Please go ahead.
No, it's the story of Mark Kerr and his life and setup. He's one of the founders or one of the big stars in the early UFC when it was a mixing of martial arts. You'd have a karate versus jiu-jitsu or wrestler versus sumo, and the early days of the tournaments.
What they focus on, which I found really interesting, I watched the first couple of UFCs, and I don't remember the name Mark Kerr, and that's not an offense to him as a fighter. The focus was on these guys, these Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys, the Gracie family coming out of Brazil, and their fighting style really rose to prominence because Royce Gracie won the first one, won the second one, like he was taking it all. However, what this brings to light, and what I really think is one of the reasons The Rock did it, as a fight fan, let's be fair. This could have been The Rock's story. This could have been a story about Dwayne Johnson had he chosen to get into mixed martial arts, right? He's a big enough guy. You know, if he gets into the fight game, he's got all the tools, the discipline for days, right? I don't know of anyone in Hollywood that's more disciplined than him. Everyone kind of rises to his level. The 4 a.m. workouts, the whole thing. He's on the programs that your Hugh Jackmans and Hemsworths are on, as far as Hollywood goes.
Yeah.
Professional athletes keep the same routine as The Rock, and they just don't go make movies when they hang up the weight belt at 6 a.m. or whatever he's done. Point being, this was looking at the Japanese side of it. So in as much as Japan has their own, professional wrestling, it's a New Japan, right? Is what they would call it.
New Japan, is one of them.
And from New Japan, a lot of talent has come and gone, right? You get a lot of talented. I'm again talking about the professional wrestling, like WWE style.
Yep.
in this case, WWE would be kind of UFC. The American version, Pride, would be the same as New Japan. Whereas they like you, if you can make it in Pride, you can make it pretty much anywhere. The UFC has risen to that level, of course, where if you can make it in UFC, you can make it anywhere. But it's them, and then overseas it's Pride. You do have Bellator, which is kind of like your NXT, like you're really like almost there, training ground.
Right.
Like you have to work your ass off to get to Bellator, which then would get you to Pride or UFC. So having kind of mentioning those three, but then focusing on Japan is important because the ideas and the, you know, and stuff like that coming from Pride are what really launched UFC in America, right? This idea of bringing that style of mixed martial arts, not just one discipline, and getting it legalized in, you know, Pride was, I think, an early blueprint for that. And so this not only focuses on one individual and his struggles in there, but also on the league itself to really say, hey, if you like UFC and you didn't know, this is part of its roots. This is not the whole story. Obviously, there's a greater story to be told about UFC and how it comes to be. And I'm sure there's documentaries out there about that. But part of the credit does go to what the Japanese were doing already. And you have a rich martial arts culture, of course, out there. Kickboxing out of Thailand, the Muay Thai, you've got, you know, karate, you've got jiu-jitsu, you've got, you know, all different styles of martial arts. A lot of them come from the Pacific Rim. And so having that as kind of your first entry point into a mixed martial arts tournament is really it was very interesting to see. So while he wasn't a huge name in UFC, well, one of the things I really liked was well, that's the thing. What, like seeing that kind of, we kind of get behind that curtain of what it was like in early days of Pride, which is something that I never had seen before. What I really liked was who they got to co-star, not only the insanely amazing Emily Blunt, but also the guy who plays his best friend and sometimes trainer and coach. The guy who plays Mark Coleman. I recognized the face. I was like, where did I see him before? Back when I was watching UFC more than I do now, so I do not confess to be current. And, you know, some of the stuff I've said I might have been, you know, off my rocker here. However, when I was watching heavily, when I was paying attention to Ultimate Fighter and getting to as many Boston pizzas as I could on a Saturday night to watch whatever the fight was, this guy who plays Mark Coleman, he goes by Ryan Darth Bader, Bader.
Okay.
Darth was his nickname. Ryan Bader, 23-8 in the UFC, light heavyweight champion, 205-pound division, won his last fight, his retirement fight in 2016. He actually went out on top with a victory, a technical knockout in 20. I looked it up just to see like how he ended his career, stuff like that. Didn't expect him to be acting, to be honest. Not that I don't know the guy from a hole in the ground. I only ever see him in the octagon. And damn, if he didn't do a good job. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was playing a professional fighter. He was playing a professional fighter, which he is, right? So of course that's a great jumping off point to act. But in the scenes where it's just him and Mark in the locker room, was he just being Ryan as this with another name, or was he trying to be a different guy? He did a great job.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. I would love to have seen his audition tape to see what scene got him in, and it would have had nothing to do with the ring, because once he got in there, he's a pro. Like he was probably also a technical consultant on the film, to be honest. You got a guy who's 23-8. He's seen as more than his fair share of the octagon, you know?
Him and Bas Rutten.
Bas Rutten, another legend in the fight game.
Who actually another guy who does a fantastic job for the small part that he has. But I mean, there's one scene where he suffers, I think it would be a heart attack.
No, it's one of his ligaments, like a severe. It was either like a ligament pull or something. Anyway, like he really strained or pressed, like almost this side of breaking his arm. It's right in his forearm. At first they were thinking he's having a heart attack. Yeah.
But then, and this whole thing about how he gets morphine basically for our some kind of pain reliever. They don't really spend it on what type of pain reliever it is, but this really addictive substance that Mark is getting clean from at this point in the movie, and he's experiencing it for the first time. He's like, "Whoa!" And he's like, "I forgot that he was a professional fighter and not an actor at that point because he was."
Yeah,
he was really convincing. I in this movie, the acting is great. Everyone is like, "Oh my god, The Rock can act." I'm like, "Well, I've seen Faster. I've seen the one where he plays the football coach for the prison kids. I forget what that's called. I know he can act, so that doesn't surprise me. This one is actually pretty good. He plays sort of a character that you could tell that he was an early proponent of MMA. There's that scene in the hospital where he starts a conversation with an older woman that she wants no part of. Yeah, that she clearly doesn't want to be a part of. And he's advocating for his sport even though she doesn't want to hear it. Like I know people like that, and that's exactly how they are. You know what I mean? Like they'll start the conversation and then dominate it.
and they have a bit of an agenda, but at the same time, the way he portrayed it was from such an honest place.
Yeah,
that you could picture the real Mark Kerr just saying like, "It's okay, I got beat up, but I got beat up for money, and it's about the sportsmanship, it's about the discipline, it's about
it's about
like,
my pride and what I
about.
do, and and I like the toxic relationship, how they go into it. I like how Emily Blunt, after he gets clean, she says, "Well, he used to need me, and now he doesn't need me anymore, and I resent that." Because she says that to her friends, and I'm like, okay, that's an interesting aspect of it. And then
I just want to take care of my baby is what she kind of says, right? Like and
you kind of see both sides, and you see how they're toxic to each other. So it's a good movie overall. My sort of major problem with it is I think they mistold the story, because I don't know if this was supposed to be a dramatic retelling of his drug addiction and subsequent return to the ring from. I don't know if this was a story about their broken relationship and how that can affect someone like that. I don't even know if this was supposed to be the story of Mark Coleman from the POV of Mark Kerr. Because in the end, it's Mark Coleman who gets the victory. Now, I know that's real life, but at the same time, I think the movie, like, he goes to rehab, and he gets his bags, he throws all of his drugs away, he gets his bags, he goes to rehab. Cut to Mark Coleman deciding to get back into the ring and going to Japan. Cut back, he's out of rehab, and he's completely good, and he's good to go.
Well, he while he's on the inside, though, he misses a fight he was scheduled to have.
Yeah.
So he chose the rehab over. I think.
But the way where do you go from there? Like from there, like the rest of it, like the relationship, the toxic relationship, but that's later solved before the end of the movie. And the end of the movie is him ultimately losing in this best of the best tournament, and Mark Coleman winning. Spoiler.
Yeah.
It's a really, to me, it's a really, really well told story of a average, interesting person. You know what I mean? If I could liken it to an MMA fight, it's a split judges decision.
Okay.
It's not a knockout or a submission, and it's not a DQ or no contest. It's a judges decision split right down the middle. You know what I
So
mean?
in your mind, two out of 3 judges liked it, but you wanted all 3 to like it.
Yeah, like ultimately it was good. I don't feel like my time was wasted, but at the same time, I think because of the storytelling and how they told the story, I think they could have told the story better and made it more dramatic for the ending. You know what I mean? I know they're telling I know they're retelling his life, and that kind of has to dictate how that story goes. But I think
because if he doesn't win that tournament for real, then what are they doing? You know?
No, I know, but I think you can creatively, I don't know, re-edit the movie. Maybe
I think I have maybe a fix for it, and because we get in Chiron after we find out that Mark and
Dawn,
thank you, Mark and Dawn were reunited and then married like a few weeks later, like after his loss, right? I think instead of cutting after the fight, I think the reconciliation, like it should have ended maybe on a higher note with maybe them getting married in Vegas. So at least there's a sort of an uptick, right? Because like it didn't just focus on his fight career, but the drug addiction and how it affected his relationship at home, which also affected his fight career, right? The 3 were kind of intertwined.
Sure.
So he's on drugs. He can't perform as well. He loses a fight, comes back, after several wins, and then it affects his home life. And then he decides he needs to get clean. Well, that affects his home life, which then affects his fight again. You know what I mean? Like that around and around that he's going in between the drugs, the girlfriend, and the fights, including fights with his girlfriend. That kind of stuff, it seems to be the focus of his struggles, right?
Yes.
And he's a very defensive person. I found that. Like the character the Mark Kerr that The Rock was portraying was very much like he wanted to make excuses and nothing was his fault. And
yes,
I just need, things like that, which it might be true to
typical
the guy
for a drug addict.
And we all do it too,
Sure.
For different various reasons. Right. But at the same time,
what are you inferring?
Yeah. I mean, other people do it. I don't. I don't. I don't. Other people.
I can see how you would do it.
I see. Yeah, you, but not me. Yeah. Anyway, so I think what they could have done is maybe have the ending be the reconciliation, so that way the message might have been something like maybe his relationship with her is the most important thing. Kicking the drugs and reconciling with her, that's the top 2. The fights, you win some, you lose some. And that seems to be like I mean, right after he loses his first one, that's instantly what his coaches are saying to him. It's devastating, but his coaches are instantly like, tomorrow's another day. We'll get back into the gym. There'll be more fights. You'll win again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it really was let's move on from this and not stew on it. That Mark Coleman did it. Baz did it. His whole camp. That's all they were saying. Just move along.
Yeah.
So I think they should have ran with that just a little bit further. Basically one more round, and really all it would have been him, one more scene with him and Dawn reconciling, and they end with the wedding in Vegas. And then your denouement is Mark at the grocery store, the real guy, which is kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. And
he kind of get the camera and the whole thing, and he's grumbling something to himself, and it's just kind of odd.
Yeah, the ending that we get, I got the ending that we got. Like it's The Rock as Mark Kerr in the shower, realizing that he's lost, not knowing that Mark Coleman has won, but he's finally, from the movie's perspective, is the first time he's accepted his loss. Right.
He is basically laughing at the end, right?
Yeah, he's smiling and laughing. It's like, okay, I have survived this. I did not go back on the drugs. I lost. I deserve to lose. But it's okay. Tomorrow's another day. I got that. the denouement is weird because it's the real Mark Kerr grocery shopping, being nice to the checkout girl, walking to his truck, putting his groceries away, putting the cart in the cart corral. Then he walks to his truck, looks to the camera, says, "Thanks, guys. See you later." Gets in his car and drives away. That's so weird. Now, this is A24. So if you're familiar with A24 does weird shit.
Yeah, but that's not. I don't know. I think
it's a weird taste in your mouth to leave the movie on. You know,
exactly. And like I said, even fine if they keep that, but I really wish they'd backed it up just a little bit or gone a little bit further and ended. We'll say the Rock's portion with like the last scene with your two strongest actors, The Rock and Emily.
Yeah.
Doing like reconciling and getting married and just one last little conversation where, he can really show her that she's more important than fighting, which I think is really her thing throughout the entire thing, is that this is more important than me. And I'm kind of tired of it.
It's interesting. To be honest, if I was making the movie, I probably would have left that Chiron out. Because the last time we see her prior to that is when she gets taken away by the police and get basically put into rehab or taken to a mental health professional because of her addictions, her suicidal tendencies at that point, which comes out of nowhere. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to have the fight, and I kind of get the bipolarism that she kind of has. Maybe I'm misdiagnosing, but she goes from sweet and nice and I smashed your bowl, but that was a really, really great scene. That was a real heart-jerking scene when she comes in to his training camp and says, "I smashed your bowl, but I read in Japanese culture, if you rebuild it and do that, it means so much more. And you're supposed to use gold, but I only have super glue." And I'm like, and he accepts the bowl. And then she smashes it again, like almost immediately. You know what I mean? And that's what I kind of mean about the pacing of this movie. Is like, yes, that they make up, and there's this really nice, really touching scene. And then almost immediately they go home. They get into a fight. They smash it. He breaks the door. All the. Okay, it's a toxic relationship. And then all of a sudden she's suicidal. She's going to put a gun into her head. He stops her. And then she's about to swallow pills, and he stops her there. What? Like, there's been no build up to that. There has been, but it hasn't earned that in my mind. I don't know about you, but
it's one thing where it's like I'm packing a bag and going to stay with my mother for a few weeks.
Yeah,
would have been what I thought was the next. Like, don't give me, like, she'd had enough. They'd had enough of each other. They needed a break at least, or something like that, right? Like, you could tell.
Well, he says there was pack your bags and move out.
There was a fever pitch, but to go, I think that was a step too far. Now, don't get me wrong. We are talking about potentially real life events here, so she could very well have done that.
I understand that, but I mean, in retelling real life events, creative licensing has been used before.
I know, and
sometimes that's a bad thing, and I get that. But here's
the thing, though. By having him, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but having him at the end of the movie actually in the picture,
that was
there's got to be something where he kind of had maybe final say. Like, they had to show the final cut to him. And I think that's something The Rock would have wanted, was to have Mark's blessing. I don't think he would have released it. I think with all of his money, he could have paid A24 whatever they wanted to shut down the movie if Mark Kerr didn't bless it. I think The Rock is that guy. So in my mind, if there's a scene where she almost committed suicide and he had to stop her, they probably got that scene from a story that he told.
Oh, this was very much a fluff piece. I really think that this movie is very, very nice to Mark. the real Mark.
Okay.
I think it's told from his point of view, like the fight that he loses initially is because of what should have been a disqualifiable offense, right? Because they spend a lot of time saying this is the new rules. If he's face down, you can't kick him in the head, and then
You can't
he
knee him
gets,
in the head. You can't. Yeah.
and then he's kneed in the head, and it should have been disqualified, but blah blah blah. And then they go back. It's like, well, we're just calling it a no contest, and blah blah blah. I think there were points in this where I was like, ooh, that this story sounds like maybe the only side they got was from Mark. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like a lot of it was the fight with Dawn, especially the attempted suicide scene. Oh, but you're hurting me, and I'm a recovering drug addict, and you're popping pills, and me and me and me,
Mhm.
and she's like, you're a worthless piece of shit. I'm like, if somebody was to tell you that story, it would sound like they were doing a pity party on me and only giving you what makes them look like the victim. You know what I mean?
So okay, so what I think you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that basically if they were in a writer's room, it's Dwayne and Mark and whoever else on the script. Dawn's not there.
No, Dawn is definitely
to
not
tell
there.
her right. They didn't bring in Dawn to say what were the events of that night from your perspective. How
Right.
did that go down? According
Like,
to you,
I don't think they
didn't-
talked to Pride and said, well, they had this whole controversy of Mark, blah, blah, blah. I think they went with what they could find in the media, because they don't give us any background on as to why he's not being paid as much as he used to, or why it was determined to be a no contest and not overruled
Yeah,
or redone or whatever like that, or blank for this.
yeah. Never get a rematch.
They never get a rematch. It's ruled as a no contest, and that seems to be an appeasement for both sides, which is something that I think something like Pride would do. Right?
Yeah, very political to just sort of like, okay, well,
Exactly.
it's like it never happened.
Especially in Japan.
Especially after they lay out those rules and the ref ignores them. That particular move was outlawed for very specific reasons. You can break somebody's neck doing that.
Sure. But
You
the thing is,
absolutely
like,
can.
but at the press conference, you literally have his opponent's manager stand up and go, let me clarify this. If he's face up, we can still kick him in the head. Yes. Okay, good. So, like, his opponent's manager does do the clarification of, okay, so let me just really understand this rule so that my client here can break it immediately. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like 10 minutes later, he's doing it anyway. I mean,
yeah,
and
which sounds like, to me, and I could be wrong, but Mark sitting in that writing room, like you said, and saying, and like his manager stood up and asked for clarification, and they still broke the rule. Can you believe it? I was screwed. They probably meant to screw me. You know what I mean? That having been said, I think Rock did a great job taking on his vocal affectations. I've never seen Rock really change his voice. Now, that having been said, there's a point in the movie where Mark, quote unquote, decides to shave his head.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, really, Mark? Really, Rock? Couldn't go the whole movie without shaving your head? Because with the haircut that he had, I was like, it's The Rock, and I can see it's The Rock, and I'm looking at The Rock, but I can kind of believe it's Mark Kerr, right?
Yeah.
And then, yes, Mark Kerr does eventually shave his head. I've seen pictures, but at the same time, as soon as he shaves his head and he doesn't have the chin patch yet, I'm like, you went back to WWE during the filming of this, didn't you? So you had to shave your head, right? Like, this is where you made an appearance at WrestleMania, and,
Oh yeah.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, eh.
And I just pulled up. Sorry. Oh wow. Actually, let me share my screen with you. Actually, no, it was accurate.
Oh no! Like I said, I know that he shaves his head before that tournament. I get that.
Yeah, and the little chin strap there, the little
Yeah.
underneath.
I'm just saying, in the movie, when he shaves his head and comes out and shows Dawn for the first time, I was like, this was a day where you needed to, where The Rock or Dwayne Johnson in real life had to have his head shaved because he was going in front of maybe the WWE audience, or maybe he was making a special appearance, or maybe he was starting filming on another movie, or maybe this was a pickup later on. I don't know, but he came out bald and was like, I'm like, okay, now you're not Mark Kerr anymore. Now you're The Rock.
Now, Grant, yes, Mark Kerr did do that for that fight in 2000, as I just showed you, but I will agree that there was probably some precise scheduling involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to shoot all of my scenes with hair before
X date. Yeah.
The 15th of whatever. You know what I mean? Because then because then I'm also doing this, that, and the other. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So. That one's, one of the things that I saw in the character, and tell me if you picked up on this, and maybe I'm off my rocker here, but one of the things that I could see, and this is credit to The Rock, especially if this was on purpose, this thing about Mark Kerr being like a super nice guy, part of it, there was something in his eyes which was basically like he would pause for a second to consider his response to certain situations, especially when it was things that would make him angry. This idea that what I saw is like he recognized if he reacts the way he wants to react, because he's a gorilla, it won't end well for the other person, and he doesn't want to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like if he's afraid,
I did find that.
Like in the ring, he can let himself off the chain, but everywhere else, he has to chain himself. Right? That's why at the at most, the door gets obliterated. When he puts that elbow through that door,
doors get obliterated.
Holy shit. He one elbow, boom, and it practically, like, it was like Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk, blasting through a door back in the 80s where it just explodes. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of, but to me, that seemed to be part of the character, is that he was always conscious of, if I get really angry, I'm going to kill somebody. Yes. So he would overcorrect the other way and be extremely super nice and end up being disarming, which was kind of cool. Like he was able to de-escalate without having to throw hands. And so to his credit, there isn't a time in the movie where he assaults Dawn, right? The door gets it. The walls might get it, but Dawn doesn't, because he knows, like, if he goes down that road, it's all over.
Yeah. And again, maybe this is me. I did notice that. You're right. He does pause, and he and whenever he starts a fight with Dawn, he's always, I'm feeling this. Mm-hmm. And I've asked you before, and I'm feeling this, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, again, I think this may be rose-colored glasses.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
This is him in the writer's room and not her.
Yes, I think, and I could be wrong. And I'm not saying that he did anything. I don't know. But I kind of had the feeling like, if he was so violent that he was tearing down doors, I would believe that perhaps there was some domestic violence. You know what I mean? Against Dawn. And it's not being shown in this movie to put him in a more positive light. Now, there's no domestic violence of her on him either, and I would believe that as well. You know what I mean? So
she went at him, he went at her. Okay.
Yes.
But the thing is, he's a gorilla, though.
Sure, but I mean, she could also have a weapon.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just saying.
You know what I mean?
Once he starts down that road, he's a trained. Like he trains to beat the shit out of people his whole life. You know what I mean? Like that's.
I'm saying initially, maybe before he goes to rehab.
Yeah, it's
You know what I mean?
possible that there is part of his rehab that really we don't see, and that is the against where the violence goes, and it
Yes.
belongs in the ring as opposed to in the home.
Yeah.
And
again, I don't know. I'm not saying that he did.
No.
I'm not implying that he
Nope.
did. It's just the way the movie was told. If that was a fact that was hidden from the movie, it wouldn't surprise me. Is all I'm saying.
Could that explain the radical turn for Dawn going from I'm leaving to
Suicide?
Yeah,
probably,
because that would be potentially another escalation, and it's possible. Heck, it's well. Don't get me wrong. It's the States, so do they need a reason to have a gun? But maybe she had a gun because she was afraid of him,
and that's possible too.
Yeah, again, absolutely not saying it happened. I don't know. I do not want to even think about accusing anyone of that kind of thing because it's horrible. It's horrible. If it never happened, it never happened. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Getting away from the uncomfortableness of this conversation, I will say the way they shot this movie was great because I felt like I was watching this movie through a 90s camera.
And a documentary style.
And it really added to putting me in that time period.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it helped a lot. I'll wrap this into sort of my overall thoughts. I liked the in-ring stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the business aspect of it. I did like his return to form. I enjoyed the story overall. I enjoyed seeing both sides of a toxic relationship. I don't think we see that enough.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think the story was just told. I think it was told wrong, which is a heavy statement, which has a lot of connotations. But I think it was just not told. I don't think it was told the best way. I think there was another way this could have been edited, or maybe the story could have been pieced together better. I think that would have made it. It could have made it a contender for various awards. As it stands right now, I don't think it's going to be in contention for any awards.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's too bad. I think people do. A lot of people were saying, well, is this one going to be the one that gets The Rock the Oscar? No. It might get Emily Blunt.
At least a nomination.
And it might get the guy who played Mark Coleman a nomination. I think he
Ryan
deserves
Bader?
it. I think he deserves it more than The Rock does.
For basically what I believe is his first real acting role. I looked up his IMDb, and it's all of his credits are just his appearances either in the ring or as a guest commentator or something of that nature.
Yeah.
During a UFC something or other, right? Dana White's shows are really, really highly produced, which is great. Don't get me wrong. It adds to the spectacle. They'll have a Ryan Bader in to do like intro. I fought against this guy back in New Mexico, and it was he was a hard puncher, and things like that. Which is fantastic when you're whipping up to a fight, or even have him in as a guest commentator during the fights. So to see him take on a role like this, like usually it's a light comedy at first. Like he'll play the friggin' big ass neighbor who, I don't know, punches Seth Rogen out one time and lays him out, you know what I mean? But in a hilarious fashion or something, like he's that
the guy who beats up Steve Urkel on Family Matters. Yeah. Steve
or at
Urkel
least
gets himself into the octagon, and this is his opponent.
This is the guy who chases him around the ring hilariously, or
he loses miraculously.
Or he just lifts Tim the Toolman Taylor up over the fence and sends him to Wilson's place or something like that. I don't know, but this is a meaty role, and yes, he's playing basically someone who's like him, who spent a lot of time in that world, so he knows it he's very comfortable surroundings. But it's those interpersonal moments that he has, even with Emily, like the idea of like he's just sort of take good care of him. Here's what he needs, that kind of stuff. It's
I'll be right there. I'll get the first flight out.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. It's really, really, really good. Sorry, please continue. You were summing it up.
Well, that's pretty much it.
Cut in there. So, what's your final thought and or rating?
I would probably give it. I'd probably give it 7 grounded pounds out of 10.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I still think I'll give. How's this for my fix for the end? Because it's a callback. She picked him up from rehab. So what if the last scene is him picking her up from rehab and they embrace? Or, you know what I mean? Like even just that. And the movie on that. Because essentially what we cut to in this denouement with the Chirons is, well, he's a family man now. Yeah, he did fight for 9 more years, which is good because he would have made the purse. I would think that a gentleman of his age, because he's not that old, but I would think of someone with that skill set, he would at least be teaching at a gym, if not own a gym. Like he should have a fight school or be part of a fight school.
I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know what he's doing, or whether whether his purses that he won are big enough that he was able to just completely retire and just be a family man. I don't know, but I would think that having the last scene be him reconciling, like, again, they don't even have to say anything. They just have her come out of a different rehab and he's there waiting and they embrace. You know what I mean? There's him laughing at the end. It's like, is he upset? Is he happy? Is he accepting? Like, I don't know, but with her, what they showed us was because of her and his trouble with her and the fight he had with her and the attempted suicide and everything, his head wasn't in that last fight that we saw in 2000 at that Pride fight. Clearly it wasn't. So if he reconciles with her, that gives us that, okay, he lost because of her, but he accepts his loss and now they can move on together. And I think, while yes, they say it in a Chiron that they reconciled, I think seeing it again, even just briefly, might have been the way to end the Rock and Emily portion of the movie. And then sure, you can have the real Mark at a grocery store for some reason, but whatever.
Well, in real life, they did not last. By 2015, they were no longer together, and he's currently working at a Toyota dealership. So,
okay, so no happily ever after.
Yeah, so that's probably why they didn't end it with the.
I guess that's all right. Well,
so
I am. Granted, though, up until the ending, though, I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like you
that
said,
denouement was really weird.
Well acted, well shot, dynamic. It wasn't just one note. It wasn't just about the fighting. It wasn't just about the drugs. It wasn't just about their relationship. It was all of it.
Yeah.
It was about his friendship with Mark, who potentially would have been an opponent. And even though that doesn't happen, they touch on that. Like that is part of the build. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, even though I'm guessing it didn't happen in real life, which is why they didn't actually have it. If it were more Hollywoodized, there's a version of this movie where
Mark's
obviously
story was interesting. I think Mark's story could have been the movie. You know,
he's a good old American boy, family man.
You know, he had success. He flamed out. He started training someone else who had big success, which inspired him to get back into the ring. Yeah, and he ends up winning the best tournament. I think that's a story there.
That's a great, and again, he's a family man just trying to make ends meet, and then he's got this friend who is down and needs help, and this is him being a good friend. Absolutely, Mark's story is just as compelling, I think.
So,
yeah.
Your final ratings?
I'll give it 7 illegal knees to the head, because at the end, that's kind of what it felt like. Out of 10, yeah.
Okay. Well, the final movie we're talking about is Good Boy.
Good boy.
Good boys. This was a unique horror movie from the perspective, not the POV, but the perspective of a dog. Mark,
Mhm.
I'm interested. What's your thoughts on this one?
Well, I'll give you the short version. I
Okay.
texted someone who I know is also a horror fan and said, the best part about Good Boy is that the dog really is a good boy.
Yeah.
I I love this dog. This dog was such a boy. He's such a boy. He's such a boy. If you're listening, such a boy. Such a good boy. What a talented dog actor. I don't know how they did it. How they got this good boy to be such a good boy, but he's such a good boy.
Yeah.
Similar to what we just talked about. Again, the ending was weird and it threw me off. I was not. I found it kind of odd.
Okay. I just had to remember what the ending was.
That's my spoiler. It's my spoiler free. We'll get into it, but
Okay.
we'll get there. Yeah, my spoiler free is that so back to back. By the way, disappointing endings.
Okay. I'm interested to find out what you found disappointing about that, but we'll get to it. For me, I very much enjoyed this movie, and I'm always asking for something new. And that can be dangerous because something new doesn't always mean something good. I very much enjoyed this. I'm glad the dog lived. I am willing to put that in the non-spoiler section because I think that's a barrier for a lot of people.
Yes, that is a trigger, I'm sure.
For people who have seen I Am Legend or Marley and Me or any of those movies or Old Yeller.
Yeah.
I don't like those movies because of that. That's one thing in a movie that you can shoot a kid in the head with a sniper rifle. I don't give a shit. You hurt a dog or a cat. That's you better have a really good movie surrounding it.
It's part of what makes John Wick such a good movie because that happens.
I've never seen John Wick, so never seen the original. I know. Okay, I know what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, and so every single time he pulls that trigger, you're like, "You're damn right. You're damn right. He didn't do it, but he should. He knows the guy. He's buddies with the guy." You know?
That's probably one of the ones that I would enjoy watching because of that.
Because it's a whole movie about comeuppance.
Apparently, how they did this movie is they just followed the dog around for 3 years and tried to basically just pointed and. He went really the long way for it, but I think it works out because I think all of the dog's movements and reactions look genuine. There's nothing. This doesn't look like a trained Hollywood dog. I'm currently watching the old show Empty Nest, and they have a big dog in that movie, and it's very clear that he's looking off screen to his trainer. You know what I mean? And but that really takes you out of it. You know what I mean? Like having dogs.
I'm sure the Olsen twins were looking off camera at their actual parents.
Well, I mean, have you ever watched like Frasier and you see Eddie, the little dog?
Yeah.
He's clearly looking off screen and doing things that he's been trained to do. This one in Good Boy,
and there's the classic Hollywood where like the actor has treats in his pocket so the dog comes to him.
Yeah.
And then the
this movie, that's
treat.
not. I never got that feel. I got that all of his reactions were genuine. He would turn his head, he would look things, he would, chuff or roof, like that, certain things. I guess it takes a lot of patience to do it that way. I do like the fact that we never see any of the adults' heads or the adults' faces all that much.
We see the sister a little bit, I think.
See the sister a little bit, but
brief moment.
Yeah. But they're not in focus.
Nope.
And I very much enjoyed this movie, and I liked, and this may be getting into your spoiler alert and what threw you off with the ending, I assume, is the supernaturalness of it.
Yes.
See, and I enjoy. We'll get into spoilers, but
yeah, spoiler alert.
It's especially in movies, they always say, "Well, the dogs or the animals always know first." right?
Yeah.
Now we see why. Because this movie posits that dogs can see supernatural things that we can't.
Yeah.
They may not understand it, but they can see it. Right?
Right.
Is that what you're struggling with?
Well, okay. Kind of. So for me, the struggle at the end was, what am I looking at here? Is it a haunting, or because there would be scenes where the dog would see something and then sort of wake up as if from a dream.
Yes.
So is the dog seeing things or dreaming, or is it real? And if it's real, what is happening? Or
Right.
is this just some sort of weird metaphor for lung cancer? And this black sludge that drags him down while his disease is taking over, is it supposed to be like, is that why he says to him at the end when he's covered in the black, you can't help me anymore?
Right.
Because the dog can't cure cancer.
Right.
That we know of. But they might be holding out on us. I don't know. I can't speak dog. Anyway.
Right.
But right, is it supposed to be
it's so simple.
because
They would just do this. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know what they're struggling with. Cheapers, So that dandelion, eat it. You're done. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. No, but
If they would just lick their own point is, they'd be fine. No, sorry. Go ahead.
So, okay, we just went through our retrospective where we had the Conjuring. Basically, they would lay out, here's what the demons want.
Yes.
Maybe that was too much hand-holding for me, and now that's what I want. I want to know what this thing is and what it wants, and why is it terrorizing this poor dog, and why it won't leave the good boy alone.
Right.
Did the old man die because of some monster in the closet, or did he also die of lung cancer because we saw him coughing up a lung? Or something.
Right.
Right?
What I got out of it was that the house was haunted by something, a demon of some kind. Maybe the personification of death, something. And because we're doing it from the perspective of the dog, we never actually find out what it is, right? Because the dog doesn't have the ability of understanding it.
True.
Right? So, and that's kind of what I like about this movie, is that we don't get the answers. For me, it was either a demon or the personification of death at the end of the movie when he was taken and colored in black. That was basically him. It was the dog seeing him cross over to the other side and being taken away by death. I believe that his body was still there when the sister came and grabbed the dog.
Was where exactly?
In the basement.
In the basement or in the bed? Because we see right at the end, his body's in the bed. He breathes his last breaths. He's bleeding a little bit outside one side of his mouth, but he's also then being dragged away from his body.
Oh, I guess so the body's in the bed. Downstairs would have been the grandfather.
So the grandfather died in the basement.
Yes.
So the grandson gets dragged down to the same spot where
his soul does.
So we're now the dog is now seeing his owner's soul get dragged by some creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Into the basement.
That was my interpretation of it.
Where there's a creepy tunnel, we know not where it goes.
Right.
And the sister doesn't bother checking it out.
The sister may not see it that way. Don't forget that dogs can see things that humans can't see. Right?
So he sees a portal to hell.
Well, he sees a portal he sees a long tunnel that leads somewhere.
Yeah. That he was able to go in and come back out of.
Yes.
Because he dragged his master back out.
Yes.
I forget the guy's name, sorry, but
it doesn't matter.
It's like Steve or something.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Eventually. He gets up and Because I think the dog just comes out on its own.
Because don't get me wrong, up until that very end, I was really enjoying it. I
can see how I can see how the ending would be divisive.
So up until then, again, loving everything this dog is doing. Loving the choices. Like you said, we don't see the humans' faces because that's not the point.
Yeah.
It's not about them, but it is. And there's this touching story of a guy who basically just went off to the woods to die.
Yeah.
And took his dog with him, and how his dog is struggling to be as much help as he possibly can, to be by his side, to guard him, to comfort him, and that, the part when he leaves him out in the doghouse in the rain, and then, they have that was just so heartbreaking because he's just sitting there in the rain. He's like still watching at the window to try and watch over him. Oh, I almost cried.
Yeah, I know.
And then this monster comes and takes him away. And we don't know what happened. What?
Yeah.
The end. And then he just leaves.
I love that scene because it's so disarming with the raining and the dog, and he's wet, and he's looking up, and he's sad, and it's sad, and you're opening your heart to this dog.
Yeah. Oh.
And then all of a sudden, monster, and I'm like, fucking brilliant.
They did get me.
I love it when movies take that sudden shift. Like that's a jump scare that works.
It did work. They got me.
Yeah.
Genuine jump scare got me. Absolutely. I usually can see them coming now. But those are lesser movies, to be fair, when I can see them coming. This one legit got me.
Yeah.
I wanted to like this so bad.
See, I did. I really did like this. This wasn't one of those movies where I'm like, well, the substance, the menu, this is, going to be my top movie of the year. But it's it's different. It was presented in a style that was different. It was well done. I enjoyed the scene where the dog first sees the ghost for the first time and it pees the carpet.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's literally pissing itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so unique. It's so unique. It's a little goofy, but at the same time, we're entering a world that we've never seen before. We've never seen a movie from the dog's perspective.
Yeah. And I like that hook.
And I love that hook. I love that there's no inner monologue. A lesser director would have put an inner monologue. I put a human voice in the dog's head.
I absolutely.
Right. I love the uncomfortability of it. I love the awkwardness of it. I love the sad parts, like when the owner leaves the dog in the house and he's whining and looking out the window and the whole time and whatever.
Yeah, and then he's right at the window. Then night falls. He's still at the window. Hasn't moved.
At the window. I love meeting the ghost dog, the grandfather's dog.
Oh yeah.
I love the subtleness of it. I love the subtle storytelling. You kind of hear things in the background. Sometimes if the dog's not paying attention, the voices go softer, but they're still telling you information that you need to know. So you really need to pay attention to it. But I think it does all come down to the ending. I think between you and me, you can see where one or the other. So
again, I guess I was trying to make understanding for myself.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I can see that. Does that make sense? I'm looking at it going, okay, wait. There's been some dreams where he saw some stuff, and then there's some other scenes where we're pretty sure he saw some fantastical stuff. There's one scene where he kind of sees something and then ends up he's just entirely soaked and behind a door, but we don't know how he got there.
Yeah.
That seems to be a bit of a misstep, because I'm like, wait, no, shouldn't we, since it's from the dog's perspective, shouldn't we have seen what happened to him, how he got behind that door? Why is he all wet when he wasn't just seconds ago?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
But at the same time, I think that adds to the tension.
It right, but I'm not sure why we're tense. Like, what did the man in black do?
Well, and that's the tense, right? That's the tension.
Right. Part. And the scene where the creature, whatever you want to call it, is reaching from behind, and it scares Indy so much he ends up biting his owner's finger because he thinks it's his.
Yeah.
Like he goes into full defensive mode and starts biting. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like when he gets pulled under the bed, but it turns out it's his master that's trying to, like, who also now has started to see stuff or hear stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's an intruder in the house. I think that was good. I like the red herring of the neighbor who's fox hunting.
Yes.
And the fact that I was like, well, okay, he mentioned fox traps. I'm like, well, that's coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was used pretty good effect where it's like, oh no, what's happening? I'm stuck. And then it turns out, no, it was his owner. He's fine.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. Again, I was trying to see meaning in this ending. So I was like, oh, maybe it's a metaphor for how about this dog who watched his beloved master, owner, whatever, his person, if you will, slipping away slowly, and he's able to do less and less because at first he's really energetic. They're going for walks. He's got the cuddles and the scritches and the scratches, and he talks to him and all that. But then as things get worse for his disease, I'm assuming it's lung cancer. They're talking about a relapse.
Yeah, something like that.
He's coughing up blood, I'm guessing, and then it turns out it's hereditary, I suppose.
Yeah,
because Grandpa had it, and so
could be one of various diseases.
Something, yeah. They do a little thing where the sister has the dog, and then here comes Buddy out of Jason. I think it's Jason.
I think so.
Jason comes out of rehab, so reunites with Indy on the street. But at first I was like, oh, is it drug rehab? Because when we meet Indy and Jason's just a puddle of a mess. I'm like, oh, he's fucking strung out on something.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think it was a disease. I thought it was, I didn't think it was like an ailment. I thought it was drugs. I thought he was just strung out. You know, I know addiction is a disease, but you know what I mean? Like a physical, a cancer. I thought I didn't know he had cancer because I'm guessing that's what it was first. Because he's like, hey, I'm too sick to get treated at like an experimental trial.
Yeah.
And they do show an x-ray of his lungs or an MRI of his lungs. So I'm guessing it's lung cancer. Anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, at first I was a little confused. I'm like, oh, is this guy in rehab or whatever? Is that what they mean by relapse? Like if he's going to fall off the wagon? Turns out, nope, he has plenty to drink. You know, at one point, they show beer and liquor bottles all over the place. He's fine. Don't know what he's doing for work, but he does leave during the day. So by the end of it, I'm like, oh, is that what this is supposed to be? Like the horror from this dog's perspective of watching his person go away in such a bad...
Which would be probably the most horror thing for the dog.
Right. And I'm trying to basically like, okay, we're in the dog's space here. We're trying to be in the dog's head. Is that what it's about? But the fantastical parts obviously take it to the next level. And while we've watched plenty of fantastical stuff, I guess I thought I was in a more real story.
You took it to a place that you weren't prepared for.
Yeah, I really thought we were heading to this one direction, that the horror was just the poor guy slipping away.
Yeah.
And what the dog was going to do about it. Because, I mean, at first when I heard about Good Boy, I was thinking, oh, maybe it's like a home invasion and the dog, home invasion horror, and the dog is going to basically home alone the whole damn thing and win the day. Which, by the way, I absolutely want to see with this dog. I want this dog starring in the dog version of Home Alone.
Yeah.
You can make it a horror movie. What's the one, what was it, House on the Left, where the terror, like I haven't seen it yet, but there's one that you told me about where the thieves are the one that gets terrorized because they go into people's homes and they're ready, or they've got ideas, and so they terrorize the thieves. Don't breathe. There's that one, but isn't there one House on the Left where they go? It's a home invasion terror, but they end up turning around on the
last House on the Left is they rape the daughter and then they come, I think the parents kidnap the thieves and bring them back to their house for torture.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while since I've seen.
All right, so Don't Breathe. So basically, a Don't Breathe, but with this dog home aloning things and winning the day would have been kind of fun. But because I'm thinking like, what kind of horror are they going to tell? So I shouldn't have been surprised that it was very poltergeisty.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I was sinking into the whole lung cancer story and how things between him and his person were disintegrating, and he just wants to be there, and he just wants to help, and he just wants to be by his side no matter what. And that to me was I'm almost crying right now. I'm bringing a tear in my eye just talking about it. So you
No,
see when it took this fantastic end, how I
Yeah.
was like, wait, what?
See, when I started seeing the backstory of the grandfather who went to the cabin and then lost his mind and whatever, and then you start seeing the ghost dog that the grandfather had, that the grandfather actually kills. Then you start to worry, well, okay, is it a demon possession? Is it a ghost possession? Is it something else? Is it the ghost that kills the dog instead of the grandfather? Is it the ghost that drives the grandfather nuts? That kind of thing. Plus, I'd seen the trailer, so I knew it was a supernatural thing going in.
Okay.
And
I
that kind
didn't.
of helps.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I guess what I really like about this is the uniqueness, is the fresh take on it. Is it perfect? No. I think you could have used a little bit more explanation. I don't know how you do it without ruining it. Like I said, if you could give the dog an inner monologue, but then, ew, you know what I mean? I prefer this. I've listened to some reviews and they're like, oh, it got really silent, and I'm like, well, you probably didn't like A Quiet Place either, right? But
I didn't mind the
I
quiet.
was fine with the silence. I was fine with the lack of music in this movie too. I really enjoyed the dogs. I enjoyed watching the dog figure things out in a dog way. You know what I mean? Like, he wants to get out the door, but he can't. So he does whatever. He puts the paw up. Well, that doesn't work. And then he jumps up or something. He would always try to, but he was never, if he was trying to get the door open, he didn't go immediately to the door handle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like in a lesser movie, he would have pulled the chair over and then screwed with the doorknob or something.
Oh yeah, Beethoven, right?
Yeah.
Beethoven would do that kind
exactly.
of shit
Thank
in
you.
a Disney movie. Yeah.
In this movie, it's believable dog reactions to what's happening in the movie, and of course there are paranormal things. I guess that's the magic bean that you got to buy into. But when you buy into it like I did, I think you really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I do like, and I appreciate the brother sister relationship was really good. Extremely believable.
She wants to help, and he doesn't want it.
I have a few sisters myself. You know what I mean? I totally bought that, and I do like that was sort of our exposition dump.
Yes.
Was her saying, okay, if you relapse, let me know. If you need help, let me know. I want to come check on you. Even talking about, hey, is Indy doing stuff? Like, she's invested in the dog's life too,
Yeah.
Is Indy doing weird stuff like barking or staring off at nothing?
Yeah, because that's what happened to the grandfather's dog.
Sort of enhancing this idea of the dogs can see more than we can, which I get. But I guess I don't know. And as much as they did try and tee it up throughout that there was some sort of hidden figure, what I think really confused me and what I really think they could have done without is the dream sequences.
That was a little weird, but you know what? I agree with you. I think that is a little weird. But for me, I think what I really enjoyed about that is we have those, and that happens to humans all the time. Why couldn't it happen to a dog? You know what I mean?
True. But
if you've ever seen a dog sleep, you know that they dream.
Oh yeah, the legs shake, the whole thing. I totally get that, but for me it didn't help what they were trying to establish. Because so if it's a movie about a human and a human has a weird dream, but also seeing something in real life, when now they're talking to their bestie, their loved one, whatever, about it and saying, oh, last night I had the weirdest dream. And here's how it relates to what's going on in the movie.
Right.
Well, we don't get that with the dogs. So every time we see something, is he dreaming it or not?
I think it's made
is
pretty
the
clear that it's a
question.
dream when it's a dream.
Right, but we don't, and then he just wakes up. So it's like, oh, okay, so that had nothing to do with what's
Yeah.
actually going on, right? So then I have to
Right.
recompartmentalize, like, okay, that had nothing to do with what's going on. Here's what's happening. He's seeing a figure in black. Dream sequence. Oh, that has nothing to do with the story. Here's what's going on. You know what I mean? Like it took me out.
See, I respectfully disagree because I think in a normal horror movie you would have the main girl dream about Freddy. Or Freddy's probably a bad one to pick. They would dream about Michael Myers, and they wake up. It's like, oh, it was just a dream. And then they would eventually see Michael Myers, usually doing the same thing that they did in the dream, or something similar. You know what I mean? I think that the dog in this movie is having that similar experience where it's experiencing the ghost and then seeing the ghost in the dream. You know what I mean? Or foreshadowing, having that foreshadow. What do they call it? The
Precognition. Or premonition,
yeah, the premonition of the ghost that eventually you will see in the movie, which is a movie trope, granted. But it's just shifted to the dog, and I like the fact that the dog can't talk about it because that raises the stakes and the tension, right? Because if you have a human that is alone in the world and has a dream and football practice and whatever, and they can't talk about it, that's going to raise your paranoia. You know what I mean? And that's going to raise your, so that's going to put your hair on end. And for me, for me that worked. I can see how I can definitely see your point of view, but for me, it really, really worked.
Yeah, to your point about the movie, like if it happens to say a person alone in the woods and they have a weird dream.
Yeah.
Well, for the sake of the audience, they're talking to themselves. Whether it's like whether to expound a little bit, it's like, holy shit, that was weird. I don't know what I'm going through, or like, holy shit, I got to lay off the sauce. You know what I mean? Like something. They at least something is said about it, and so
but the thing is, I think the dog's facial reactions to that, he wakes up and he kind of looks around. He's like, okay, that wasn't real. Like I kind of saw that in his eyes. Like, okay, that wasn't real. That was a dream. What the fuck? You know what I mean? So you get it without it having been said.
I guess. And to this movie's credit, during those sequences, I was like, oh no, he's in danger again.
Yeah.
So I was buying in, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't give a shit when he woke up, right?
Yeah.
But he woke up. Oh, that didn't happen. Well, what is happening? You know what I mean?
Like, that's part of a horror movie. Sometimes is
what
the hell is happening?
I guess I miss the good old get to know your villain. You know what I mean? Like, what does this thing want? At least I don't know. You know what I needed? Surprisingly enough. The Book of Knowledge. I needed the Book of Knowledge. I needed
Jason. Is that what you need?
I needed Jason to find Grandpa's old journal or something where it talks about the folk tale that yada yada yada. And, but we're not going to get that. I don't like he could have been reading him bedtime stories out of this journal about yet. Don't get me wrong. We do get some very cool like 90s video cassettes. Where we get a little bit, I think maybe a little bit more of that might have been the key.
I think that may have been worked there. More of the grandfather's descent.
Just so we kind of see from a human perspective,
we get a parallel.
So we see Grandpa going through it, and now we're seeing the dog watching the grandson and go through it, and then meeting Ghost Dog too, right? Like Rebel, I think his name was, but.
Sure.
Whatever. Don't get me wrong. Your explanation has actually helped raise my opinion of this movie.
And that's only what I took away from it. I don't even know if that's the
well, no, I apparently this is something I shouldn't have watched alone. I guess I needed someone to talk to about it.
Yeah. This is you. Whoa, football practice. Yeah.
Maybe a dog
you waking up from a dream.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I needed a dog to talk to. Could have set me straight. I'm not sure.
Overall ratings?
Oh, I'm still giving it 7 Who's a Good Boys out of 10 because the dog.
Yeah.
This dog, like, okay, it took 3 years, but is such a good boy. I love watching just a dog being a dog and how he's dealing with everything and how this particular dog took everything in stride. He didn't leave. He could have left. He had plenty of opportunities. Loyalty, his caring, you know what I mean? His just want to just be there with his master, things like that. Like this character of this dog.
Yeah.
Indy, apparently that's his real name. So yeah, very cool. Love this dog. So I hope to see him again in something. Maybe not. I don't know if they got 3 more years of his time to follow him around, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe not in a sequel or anything to this, because let's hope the sister doesn't get
need
sick.
a sequel.
Absolutely not.
And here's the thing: is I don't want to start seeing horror movies from the cat's perspective, from the goldfish perspective. Don't do it because this worked. Do it because you have an idea that works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My home invasion idea. I think that's not bad. Well, you could get away from
us.
Yep. kmoviecrew@gmail.com. We'll write it. Yep.
I could be the marker in the writing
room. In the writer's room. That's right, with the professionals. Yeah. I really wanted to like this more, but that ending just sort of confused me a bit. It was like because what's
the dog? Real, what's not? What's he seeing? Why?
What is the dog seeing and why? Yeah. What is it a legitimate ghost, or is it the personification of just like, is he just kind of following his spirit leaving the body? It did look like that at some point, but
that's what I got out of it.
He's just sort of sitting there in the water at the end, and then he just like gets called away. He thinks about staying, which again, there's that loyalty, but then he makes the better choice and goes where he could be loved again with the sister.
Yeah.
So that's my ending, by the way. He lives with the sister now. She's taking good care of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the one thing we haven't talked about is the whole movie starts with a flashback of him adopting the dog as a puppy.
Oh,
which is even more brutal when you think about it. So, I don't think I need to say anything more about this. I'm going to give this 8 boopable snoots out of 10. And I'm definitely not going to be watching any dog videos on Facebook or YouTube tonight. So,
no.
This is a movie you watch once. And if you have any opinions, you've seen this movie, or you're going to see this movie, or you have seen any of the movies that were TV shows we talked about, CanadianMovieCrew@gmail.com. Coming up, we're going to have, we're coming into mid-November, December, so a lot of movies will be coming out. We're also coming up on our end-of-the-year awards show.
I'll spoil that. I will spoil a little bit of that. There is a contender, a pretty good contender for the Mean Mark Goodest Boy Award. I'm just saying. In 2024, it was given to Jean-Claude from The Fall Guy.
Yep.
We might have a new contender for Goodest Boy. I'm just saying. Stay tuned to find out. To find out. You know.
So that's gonna about do it. Mark, thanks very much for coming out.
Always a pleasure.
And I'm Derek, guys. We'll see you on the next Film Studies coming soon.